Hi guys, it's Hani here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to make Halloween slash Day of the Dead gingerbread house. I'm going to show you a really neat trick how you guys can make royal icing shingles. These can be made ahead of time, and to make those I used a template. I used X-Acto knife to cut out my shapes, and here I'm spreading stiff royal icing over the template. Underneath there I have a piece of wax paper, and you want to spread a moderately thick layer over the stencil or your template. You don't want it to be too thin. So if you don't have the spatula but you have a plastic spreader like this one, you can also use that. So you have two options, or maybe you can even use a ruler if you don't have either of those. Once you're done making the skulls, we're gonna have to let those dry, preferably overnight. Once dried, we can simply remove them from the wax paper, and I'm going to decorate the bottom side. So you're gonna flip them over, and to decorate these I'm going to use edible markers. You can also paint these if you have food colors and a paintbrush. You can make these ahead of time like I mentioned before and have them in a plastic container and use them when you are ready to decorate your gingerbread house. If you are looking for a few design ideas on how to decorate Day of the Dead skulls, just look online and look for some ideas there. To make the gingerbread house itself, I am using a store-bought pre-made gingerbread house kit. I'm using a paper template and tracing the outlines for the windows, and then we're going to use purple royal icing, about 15-second consistency, outline each window, and then we're going to flood them as well. Let it crust for about 15 minutes and then take dark gray royal icing, 15-second consistency, and flood the whole cookie. Let it dry, and then you can make the flower pots using orange royal icing. Use a consistency that is slightly thicker, about 20 seconds or so. Now with sanding sugar, dust the flower pots with orange sanding sugar. Remove the excess with a small food-only dry brush. Now take edible marker and draw the window panels. You can also use black royal icing if you have that on hand. With piping consistency light gray royal icing, outline the windows to make the frame. And now onto my favorite part, cobwebs. To make the cobwebs, use white royal icing, piping consistency. I'm also going to add a little bit of shimmer to my house with some silver sprinkles or buttons, and then also you can paint the frame with the silver edible paint. To make the front and back panel of the house, we're gonna start with a window using the same kind of a shape like we did on the side of the house. To make the door, first I'm gonna make the outlines for the eyes, nose and the mouth, and then using purple royal icing, about 20-second consistency, we're going to outline the mouth, eyes and the nose, and also flood it with royal icing. Use a needle tool to spread the icing evenly. After this, we're gonna have to let that crust for about 10-15 minutes. Then take orange royal icing, about 15-second consistency, and flood the whole front door. Use a needle tool or a toothpick to shape the icing. Take gray royal icing and outline the whole cookie. I am using darker gray and it's 15-second consistency. Let it dry completely and then use edible marker to make the window panels. With light gray royal icing, outline the windows to make the frames. Use dark gray royal icing to add few elements around the door. With stiff royal icing, make decorative edging just above the windows and also above the door. Now we're ready to make the cobwebs. Try not to think about the placement of the cobwebs too much. Just go with the flow. I'm sure they're gonna look great anywhere you put them. Let it dry completely and then you can add a few pipe details here and there if you wish to. I'm also going to add those decorative buttons or sprinkles on the bottom edge. Use a little bit of icing to glue those buttons onto your cookie. also add few ghost eyes. Let those dry and then finish them with black edible marker. I'm also going to paint light gray with some silver edible paint. To glue the pieces together, make sure you use stiff foil icing. Underneath, I have a piece of wax paper, gluing the front panel first and then propping it up with small bottles of sprinkles. Then you can continue with the side panels and then also the back panel. After that, I'm gonna let that sit and dry for about 5 hours, and then I'm going to glue the roof panels on top of that. When adding the roof, hold the panels in place for about 30 seconds or so and then prop them up with small bottles. I'm gonna let that dry overnight and then we can decorate the roof with the skulls we made earlier. First though, I'm going to add a layer of light gray royal icing, stiff royal icing to each panel. Use a fork or an icing comb to give the icing a little bit of texture, and then carefully layer the skulls on top of the icing. Try not to press too hard on the skulls because if you put too much pressure on them, they will break in half. I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle and shimmer to my design using silver disco dust. All you need is dry food-only paintbrush and disco dust. Dip the brush in disco dust and then gently tap the brush over your royal icing. I'm also going to add a skull onto the front panel, use a little bit of icing to glue it on there, and then finish up the top of the roof and also the front edges using a petal tip and stiff royal icing. Let it dry completely again, and then you can display it on a pretty cake stand. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell button so you get notified about my new uploads. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.